Roll call.
See, 5 o'clock, call the meeting to order.
Oh, ready?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen Sug,
Present. Here.
Commissioner Clucci, Commissioner Grace is absent, Commissioner Lozey is absent, and Commissioner Salona.
Minutes of the previous meeting. You can take a look. Have any comments?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion approved in seconds. Do we need to roll call for that one? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Project updates, wastewater treatment plants.
I could take that one. So the 20-year contract, in your package, you have the last invoice and the invoice summary for the total project. Also is the meeting minutes and upcoming agenda for the project. The project is about 80% complete, and it's in the time frame, it's about 70% complete. So currently, there's members screening and grit tank concrete work ongoing at 80% completion. Aeration tanks all now back in service. The dewatering building and mechanical work is 80% complete. The odor control mechanical upgrades are continuing to go on as designed, and as HVAC work continue to be done at the plant. The remote pump stations that the project has been working on, the Camden Street pump station is complete. We're just waiting for the National Grid to make the hookups to that. Washington Street is about 70% complete. Hanson Street is complete, Blossom Street is complete, and Reed Street is about 70% done. So the project is moving forward on time, on budget, and so far it's going well.
Good. Awesome. Any questions?
No.
All right, water treatment plant reports.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The Water and Sewer Commission is in compliance with all federal and state drinking water regulations. The water supply capacity as of yesterday was at 68%. The average for this time of year is 72%. And all 10 of the contract full-time positions at the water treatment plant are full. Filled.
Very nice.
So,
Do you see yourself probably going into some kind of drought advice soon, given we're about to probably?
yeah, we're probably definitely gonna hit drought watch. That's at below 66%, so we're just about there. And then, we'll just have to see. There's been a lot of rain up through New England, the mountains.
Yeah.
In Vermont, they've actually had too much rain. In Connecticut, we've just been kind of in the middle of the sandwich, so we'll have to just see. But if the current weather pattern holds, then we could be not quite as bad as 2 years ago, but somewhere in the moderate drought range.
Can you remind me, when it hits drought watch, what do you do?
It's just what we're
You send
doing.
out some information, or is there any?
Well, we let,
Press no, or?
yeah, for what they do, but it's basically just closely monitoring the situation
Got it.
until we get the voluntary, which is 10% more below that.
Got it. Okay, thanks. Any questions?
No.
Thanks, Rick. Anthony, you gonna do the CSO?
Yeah. Thank you, Chairman. Phase 3, Methuen Constructions continue to work on the electrical building. Cable wire termination, installation of a 54-inch drain force main. The tunnel is complete. All work for the installation of the commercial 72-inch casting pipe work is complete. The 54-inch high density polyethylene carrier pipe and grouting work is being done. All the work for the installation of the Bennett Street 72-inch micro tunnel and contact grouting has been done, and that project is moving along well. The project is approximately 92% complete. The phase 4 and 5, the contractor is currently, that's the Gioso contract and mostly pipe installation. The contractor is currently performing mainline sewer and drain installation. Contractor has set up temporary water in the area, and that project is moving forward. They've been installing drainage pipe, sewer pipe, and water main pipe. That contract is around 30% complete. I think last meeting was asked about the moving the gas main on Bennett Street, and part of the project started last Monday, so they're currently working to get that done. It looks like They'll do that in 2 phases. The first phase will take about a month. Once they get that first phase done, GEOSA will be able to move into the Bennett Street area to complete their work. But it looks like it's about a 2-month period before the gas main will be moved.
So the commercial street, I think of it as commercial street, so when will that station be complete?
So the station should be completed before the date of October of 2024.
Yeah, that's the deadline we're
Yeah.
aiming for.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Any questions? Nope. Kings Beach updates?
Yeah, I'll start if you don't mind.
Sorry, yep.
So in your package, you have the monthly updated IDDE report. And also, you have a plan showing the work that BMC, our contractor, has been doing. We've done 15.1 miles of pipe. About 0.56 is incomplete, and about 3 miles have been abandoned at this point. Eric Kelly will go into that. I gave the board a handout. He'll go into that and talk about it. The budget right now, we've spent about $500,000 of the budget. There's about $650,000 remaining in the budget. Again, Eric Kelly has a handout, and I guess this time I'll hand it over to Eric if you want to give them an update.
Yeah, so we have about 3 miles left, some of which was attempted but abandoned because of defects or mainly due to the need for heavy cleaning. Our biggest obstacle right now is getting consistent police details because our amount of equipment is going up for the cleaning efforts. So we're trying to do one dedicated day a week just so we can guarantee, because we've had some late cancellations and things like that. It's just a lot of competition for officers with everything else that's going on, both commission work and other city work. So that's going to be kind of a slow go right now. We are planning on moving ahead with additional smoke testing because we do not need the details for that. And the work we did down by the middle school in July was kind of inconclusive. We had a couple properties that we have to do targeted work on just because they happen to show evidence of smoke on both the drain and the sewer. So we're going to be looking on those. And then we'll be canvassing that neighborhood the last week of August, going door to door, asking for dye tests because of the results of the smoke testing. And that'll be the last week before the schools go back. So hopefully we get a pretty good return on that effort rather than doing the appointments, which have been keeping Neil's phone ringing periodically. But that's the plan for the field work, and it's just kind of chipping away at the heavy cleaning segments as we go. Like Anthony said, we still way under the total contract amount because we didn't have as much heavy cleaning as we anticipated. But what remains, we need multiple details in order to have traffic flow around the equipment.
And when you say what remains, is that more that you're talking about, is that more the 0.56 or the 3 miles?
The total 3 miles, we're working the heavy cleaning in an order of which ones we think we can actually be effective at. There's some pipes that are 100% full of debris, which is a much bigger effort to clean.
So where does the water go?
In those ones, it could be evidence of a collapse that has to be repaired, but most of them have some level of flow through them, but they need multiple passes with the cleaning tools in order to get through. Some of the incomplete that we attempted, some of the old egg sewers, the camera actually had trouble traversing on Essex. It was in there and kept rolling due to the bricks. It's old masonry sewer. So we might not be able to TV it with the equipment. So some of that was that, or very short segments that are between things that access is the problem why we couldn't put the cameras in. So we're not too worried about the half mile of things that are inaccessible. It's more trying to work through the
3 miles.
The 3 miles of stuff that needs roots and heavy debris removed.
Okay.
And in the handout that we had, we pulled together just some examples of some of the defects we've been finding, just because that came up at the June board meeting, just to kind of get an idea, a snapshot of what we're seeing inside. So like each of the type of defects, there's a little slide and some photos just to explain for reference, like the kind of things we're looking for. What we're doing in support of the IDD program behind this is we're going to make up a maintenance tracking log for all the drainage that has certain defects of a high enough criticality that the commission needs to think about fixing them. So that could be through spot repairs or kind of more repair and rehab of larger segments. So you are kind of getting a really good condition assessment of the whole drainage system, in addition to just seeking the direct connections.
Do you mind talking about this a little bit?
I was about to say,
Presentation,
yeah.
Just so we
thank
can
you.
understand what it is we're looking at.
So as you go through the slides, it basically gives just an overview of what we're doing, and then goes into what the primary objective of the CCTV program was to find the direct illicit connections. So we're looking for. So we start off with the 6 properties that have been found to date. Now these were ones where there was explicit evidence that there was a direct connection. But while we're also cameraing through all that, we are looking for maintenance and structural defects. So things like broken pipes, so that's your cracks, your fractures, if you have major holes visible and you can see the soil behind it. The only major collapse identified, or potential collapse, was only in one segment, which actually was immediately downstream of one of the illicits. That might be a pipe segment that just has collapsed, or it might be a manhole to manhole needs full replacement. And then you have maintenance defects, so you could have buildup of grease, you could have organic debris, you can have the roots, things like that, where you can go in and you just need specialized treatment. So,
So on slide 3, the 2 photos,
yep,
can you just explain to us what are we looking at in those photos?
that is evidence of an illicit connection. That is direct sanitary waste. So that is the quote unquote smoking gun of a sewer pipe going into the drain. So that's human waste.
I'm more concerned about that 3 miles that you said that the camera could not penetrate. So
Yeah,
we-
it can, but we need to heavy clean the line. So basically you have to run the jet equipment through to move all the debris, vacuum it out, and then you keep doing passes until you've made it clean enough for the camera to.
And we've done that.
So that's what's being done now.
Okay.
So, yeah, light clean, if it was light cleaning, we did that as we went, and heavy cleaning, you need multiple pieces of
Good.
equipment to do.
Because my impression was like, you just skip it and go to the other one.
Yeah, you just basically, you need more equipment to do it, so we note it and then we come back to it.
Because it defeats the purpose why we're doing it, if that's the
Yeah.
case. Thank you.
So then as you go on to slide 5, those are just some examples, some typical structural defects. Roots, which was an area where we probably cleared already around a mile of pipe that had various roots. Some of it's minor, it's just little spaghetti-like tendrils coming through a joint, and then you can have massive amounts of roots, which will actually obstruct flow, and that is more specialized equipment. So those get graded on severity, just like the pipe defects. So what we're doing is looking through all the CCTV data now to score the structures so that we can find the segments or assets that need attention for repair. That might be low priority, intermediate, or severe, so something like a collapse is gonna be at the top of the list. And then you go on to slide 7. This is just kind of examples of things that, debris, so this is more maintenance, not necessarily, so in the little pictures around, there's rocks, camera can't do that, there's a manhole cover that found its way in. Sometimes in groundwater infiltration, you can get an organic buildup, so the picture in the lower left, it's kind of probably an iron-based film that just starts accreting on everything. And then other places where you have other utilities cross-boring through your drain. So in this case, this is a water main that's running straight through your drain. You'll see it with gas services a lot of the time. They'll just crisscross right through. So as long as you know they're there, it could be something you have to keep an eye on because it can make for cross connections, or it can just become a headache down the road with maintenance. The other big thing is just a lot of the debris ends up being the floatables and stuff that gets into the catch basins and gets stuck in the pipes and then can't get purged out, which gets to more issues with a bigger MS4 program with catch basin cleaning and street sweeping, parks maintenance, and then just infiltration, which we have been reporting as we find it, because that could be evidence of a water main leak or break in the vicinity, and it's using the drain you don't see it at the street level because it's using the drain to traverse. So those are just kind of some examples as to what the TV crew is looking at while they're out doing their work.
It's awesome. Well, we put this on our website?
Sure. Yes, we do that.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Bob. Been communicating with Bob the whole time, today and yesterday, about our website. And thanks to the people who are upgrading, developing it. But I just want to make sure that we need to simplify. Is there a section where that says just Kings Beach? and people can click and everything's listed there. It's just not user-friendly as far as King's Beach is concerned, and, you know, we got feedbacks about that as well.
I think there's a way we can put that on the
Yeah, to
front
simplify
page.
it.
Yeah, we could do that.
I can find it, and then if I can't find it, I'll just email and call Bob, and, you know, all the people in Lynn don't have that courtesy to.
Maybe they should.
Maybe they should. So if we could simplify it, it'd be easier, right?
So I just if I could add one thing. So the intent was, we spoke last week with Eric and myself. There's 650,000 left in the contract. So Environmental Partners was gonna put together, as you mentioned, a priority list. And then maybe we can transition to some of the other issues of fixing pipes, heavy cleaning. He's gonna put them in a certain category, and we'll go in order of what we have for the money to solve that. That's
The good
sort of
news is
the
there's
intent.
plenty of budget available to do the heavy cleaning that remains to be done. It's just really our biggest constraint is traffic control. Like, we can't have that equipment in the street without a detail. So,
But if you find like, so the 650, do more of the heavy cleaning, look at the stuff. If you find a collapsed pipe, you know, like where does that go on like the to-do? I have no idea. Like,
Right.
how does that like, oh, there's a collapsed pipe here. Does that go on like the long list of the to-dos that's not gonna be covered by the 650? That's like a separate.
I agree. I mean, are we using the 650 just to keep cleaning it
yeah,
until we
right now,
utilize the
there's no
650?
contract provisions with BMC to do any repairs. They're just doing cleaning and inspection, and they're supporting the smoke testing. And
Even though it's clean already, we just keep cleaning until we run out of it.
we're gonna clean until we can't, until we've
What will happen to that money? It will return back.
Yeah,
If
it's
you don't-
basically a time and materials contract based on
Gotcha.
the size of the drain that they're cleaning. So if they finish that 3 miles and it costs another $250,000, whatever the balance remaining was not needed, so.
All right. Yeah, I like the idea, but maybe the contract, we can use that.
Oh, no, I was just wondering just how that's, I mean, if it's not, you know, directly impacting Kings Beach, which is the point of this.
Right.
I mean, then you find other capital issues that you're gonna have to address at some point. I'm sure
Right.
you've got collapsed pipes, unfortunately, probably all over the country.
Sure.
Can you speak to that?
Yeah, we, we definitely have some issues in both drain and sewer. It's an old city
Yeah.
system. As far as what we're TVing, it is all tributary to 006. So
Yep.
it would make perfect sense to fix anything that we find
Yeah.
deficient, whether it's small stuff that my group can do or big stuff that a contractor would have to do.
We're also gonna cross-reference against all the field screening data, because there might be certain repairs that might speak to a vulnerability that we wanna kind of like make the system more intact, because it might be a way for sanitary to get in. If you've got large gaping holes or places where a surcharge in the sewer system can find its way into the drain, then we wanna button those up too. So we are gonna look at it both on its just structural score and criticality, and also just, is it in the same vicinity as some of our high hits we've seen in the field screening? But the field screening is gonna continue through the end of the calendar year, because now that you've cleaned most of the system, we need to go back out and find out where do we need to go do more targeted things. So like the middle school area proved to be extremely high for screening levels, and the smoke testing indicates something is going on down there, but there is likely still cross connections between sewer and drain.
Not too many though.
No, it was just those two specific properties that are the hot spots, but there's definitely other things going on, so we have to confirm that with the dye testing we're gonna do the last week of August.
Is it light at the end of the sewer, you think?
Just gonna keep working through, it's just unfortunately, it's just an iterative process, so
Yeah.
it never really, unfortunately, IDD programs never really end. It's more just, they kind of just change their intensity.
Question about the outreach at the end of the month. I know when I see people come into my door, I hide and don't answer the door. Do you have people that can converse in other languages? I don't know
Yeah,
the
we're gonna have
area.
provisions for that. All the mailings that we just sent out, a whole new batch of, some people are hearing for the first time, some properties are hearing for the third time. It's in 4 different languages, I believe, is what we ended up with this one. So before it was like asking for voluntary action in some of the very basic language that the commission uses on some of their notices, and then we worked with City Hall and got it the full notice has been translated into the 4 languages that they use for their outreach, so. But yes, someone on the team that will be canvassing the neighborhood will be bilingual, so.
Couple other points. Anthony, you started the testing, weekly testing at the end of the sewer, or the end of the outfall pipe on the Lynn side?
Yes.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that at all, or?
Sure. We've been doing it every Tuesday. Some of the results have been a little higher than we expected. There's no question, after a rain event, they're elevated. There's no question there's some urban runoff of, parks, maybe some rodent stuff or other things that might be in the system that definitely get washed in during rains. So there is definitely a spike during rain events, there's no question about it. Our CSOs, we only had one slight 5-minute overflow from our CSOs this summer, which is very low. That's the only one we've had this year, so there hasn't been a CSO event that has caused the elevated levels. What we've done in the last 2 weeks is we've doubled up our testing. We did an in-house test with environmental partners, so one of my engineers goes with environmental partners and they take the sample, they do 2 sample bottles. We send one to our lab, they send one to their lab just to compare them, make sure that it's kind of a check. We did get the first one back from them. We haven't gotten ours back. They seem to get theirs about 24 hours to 48 hours, where ours takes about a week for our process. So we were going to look and compare them, the 2 of them, to see if there was, make just sure that the data is accurate from the way our process is with their process. So that's been going on, yeah.
Yeah, all right. The last thing I wanted to mention, and the reason I put in the packet, is there's a presentation for the different potential ideas behind trying to address Kings Beach. It seems like from what I've read from the meeting minutes from the steering committee, which are also in the packet, that UV and ozone are being discussed, as well as the pipe extension. And I think, and so first of all, I was hoping we'd have everyone here in terms of the board, just to get people's opinion on that kind of an approach. But I also wanted to more fully understand or consider having this other option, which originally what they looked at was pumping the water to the plant from Stacy's Brook, which does not make sense for a variety of different reasons, and I think that's totally fine. Like it's the plant's not supposed to do that. It's a lot of water, right? Yada yada yada. But looking at the cost of all these various options, they're really high. Unfortunately, UV is going to be high. Ozone, which I'm not sure it's even going to happen, would be high. Extending the outfall pipes is, going to be take our lifetime and going to cost a lot of money. One other option that I would like to see considered is pumping. Again, this would be a capital project, but redirecting the flow to pump into the inner harbor and discharge out of CSO 4 and 5, if possible. I don't know I'm not an engineer, right? But I think that was what they looked at, was actually pumping it to the plant.
Okay.
Yeah, the approach was to collect the dry weather flow from Stacy's Brook and pump it to the plant for full treatment.
Yeah, and that was gonna cost a ton of money and never get permitted and all those kinds of things. But what about the idea of, and I know Dan mentioned it at our last meeting, because he had a soft number of 15 million, which would probably be for the pump stations because it's not elevated correctly and all that kind of thing. But it would not be for treatment, it would literally just be for redirection, while IDDE and all these other things go on to try to resolve the problem long term. You'd be basically sending the water somewhere else.
Sure, so I have a couple thoughts on that.
Sure.
Some might not be great thoughts.
That's fine.
So I think in that package, in that presentation, one of the highest weighted criteria was public acceptance. It's weighted as 25%. A couple of the issues, and I'm not saying it's not, we shouldn't look at it. We definitely should look at this. But one of the issues with extending the outfall is that other municipalities, Nahant, Revere, are you moving the problem to me? To move it to the inner harbor 04, 05 area, there might be some concerns with with people saying, hey, why are you moving it to where I am now? So that's one issue. Two is obviously Swampscott discharges at the same beach. So if we do move ours, how does Swamps, what do we do with Swampscott, right? We'd have to move theirs.
I mean,
So-
this is just a conversation.
Yeah, no.
No, you can't move one and not the other and expect the beach to be clean.
No,
It's
no,
not gonna
no question. I think the other issue with the piping, I think Danny had thrown out 20 million or whatever. We're building a stormwater pump station right now, and the price tag, I believe, is $40 million. $40 million. So a pump station, the two issues with that would be a location for it, obviously, and that's another cost. But absolutely nothing wrong with having other ideas that could shift the flow is certainly worth looking at.
I mean, again, as we're just talking about ideas, could we charge Swampscott for it?
Yep.
I'm just saying,
Yep.
there's lots of, just as a conversation, we're talking tens of millions of dollars for what's gonna be either a temporary or a very, very long distance fix. It just seems like it may deserve at least be kind of kicked around a bit.
Absolutely, I agree. There is an idea that we should
That's just me.
pursue. Yep.
Yeah, is this a conversation that the Kings Beach Task Force needs to
Well, I think
discuss as
what I was
well?
hoping that was Dan was gonna be here, so.
Right.
That's the task force, because we're
Because he
not
sits in the task force.
task force, so
yeah.
that was the original intention.
Yep. But certainly, definitely a good idea.
Yeah.
To look at,
You
sure.
should have a sit in that task force as our chairman.
I think it was just for, yeah.
No, what would be the process for that?
Well, I think Dan is represents the commission.
All right.
So I think there's only a handful of people, I think. I didn't make up the task force, so I don't know. That's
Right.
my understanding of it, though.
Yep.
So,
We could charge Swampscott.
Well, they'd have to participate in the cost of doing that, so. you know.
again, just as, just to,
Yeah, we're having a conversation.
Yeah. so, okay. So anyways, maybe we can,
We'll revisit when the other two
Are here.
Yeah. Like I could totally picture Robin giving some input. But just,
I could certainly have that discussion with Dan.
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yep.
And it would be, if Dan is here too.
Yep.
It's his birthday too. So.
oh my God.
Just kidding. That'll be a green tea.
He's in Greece.
No, not Greece.
All right, any other, we done with Kings Beach right now? The season's almost over, good. Next up on business, scope of services for professional and technical consulting services, 005 area sewer separation projects. Yeah, if you wanna take that.
Thank you, Chairman. So in your package is what we would call the Eighth Amendment to Stantec's contract. It's the next phase in the consent decree. We are currently finishing 4 and 5 and 3 on the first phase. The second phase is to move to the 005 area. And this work is a similar work to what is going on right now in the 4 and 5 area. We've had discussions, the commission, Stantec, EPA, DEP, to discuss what is the next steps. So this is doing a portion of the next step, which is 85 acres of removing drainage from the 005 area. We would utilize the existing drain line on Washington Street. Stantec has modeled that drain for the hydraulic grade line so that we know that this 85 acres could be absorbed in that pipe. The scope of work would include field work, technical borings, CCTV inspection, assessment of the existing sewers, and a 30% design and engineering plans. Looks like the regulatory agencies have agreed upon this. Should be the next step. So in your package, not only does it describe what the work would be, but there's a breakdown in the cost associated with it. I did sit down with Dave Van Hoven, who's present here tonight, to look at the cost of that. He's He's, for his personnel and work, he's kept his rates at the same level that he started the contract back in, I think it was 2016, does that make sense? Yeah, so, it's something that the regulatory agencies are looking favorable on pursuing it this way, and it is, we're under a consent order that has deadlines and looking to get this completed by the end of the year. The cost for that is $861,985, and we're looking for a vote of the board tonight to add this amendment to their existing contract so they can continue to finish the work they started.
Can you read it, Rich?
You got it, right? You got it. Here you go.
Yeah. Oh, no, this is later.
Okay.
But I'm saying the numbers, hope you could print later. But I understand about the need to, because there's also deadlines that we need to.
Yeah, there's deadlines in the consent decree that.
Can you just briefly remind us, 005, the time frame for, this is the next huge project. And can you just tell me the time frame as well as the overall cost of what we're expecting this separation portion to be?
Sure. The consent order needs to be completed by 2030,
Okay.
okay? This portion would be completed by 2028. And then the second phase of the 005 area would get us to the 2030. That's the second phase of this. The cost of this, as we all have experienced, the cost of these projects have gone up. I think the estimate for this is around $10 million for the 85 acres.
It'll be more than that.
A little more than that, okay. And then the second phase would probably be another, another, what, 15, something like that, about 40. Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's but not until we get to not until we see the design and the work, it seems the cost of these projects have escalated. That's just the way, this is the world we live in today, so.
Okay. All right. Someone want to make a motion to,
For how much money?
800.
Right now, this is for $861,985.
Make that formal motion, what you just said.
Second.
all right, any discussion? No,
No.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, let's do it by roll.
Oh,
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Allenton?
Yes.
Commissioner Clutchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Grace is absent, Commissioner Lozey is absent, Commissioner Solona?
Yes. Next up is the park easement agreement.
Yeah. Thanks, Commissioner. So park easement agreement is for the commission to grant an easement to the Harbor Park project. It is in your package, there's a plan that shows the size of the easement. It's about an acre, 43,947 square feet. So what they've done is they're working on creating the proper slope of the capping of the landfill, of the city's landfill, in order to make the gradual slope to our land. They sort of needed to take over some of our property so that it just didn't drop off. So in the package, there's a drawing showing what the easement is. The easement also encompasses an existing easement for the National Grid power lines that go through there that were moved many years ago. So it's that's why you see the overlap in the plan. You see the triangular shaped, which is the new easement, and the old easement is sort of rectangular shaped. So it's kind of overlaps it. Those power lines are currently there. So we're looking to have a vote so that we can allow them to obtain this easement from us. And we're looking for you to just authorize the executive director to finish and pursue and accomplish obtaining this. It's not completed. There's some ancillary stuff and some work that the Harbor Park needs to do. They had covered over some of our monitoring wells. They had some of our vents that need to be raised to grade, and there's been discussion to do that. There's also a drainage swale that they need to bring back into compliance that drains to the plant. So there's a couple things, but we're looking to authorize Dan O'Neill as Executive Director to continue pursuing this and getting this easement over to the city.
Thank you. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I would like to make a motion that the Executive Director, Dan O'Neill, be and is hereby authorized and directed on behalf of the Board of Commissioners to execute an easement to Lynn Harbor Park for the purpose of a public park over a portion of that certain parcel of land located off Circle Avenue in Lynn, known as Assessor Parcel 050752026, in substantially the same form as provided here, and now to do all things necessary or appropriate to comply with the carry out the intent and purpose of this vote for the benefit of the city of Lynn.
Second.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Take a roll call. Yep. Okay, Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Commissioner Calucci?
Yes.
Commissioner Grace is absent, Commissioner Lozey is absent, Commissioner Solona?
Yes. All right, sewer easements.
Okay, the second one is a sewer easement. So this is partly an existing easement that houses the, we have a sewer easement that houses our 002 outfall. And we need to obtain two other parcels that would be added to the original parcel, which was taken in 1926, I think, I believe. So this is the force main outfall from the pump station. Okay, so we've already have had discussions with Charter Environmental and the two easements that are kind of on either side of the existing easement. We needed to get the pipe to the ocean, basically. So we're looking for a vote to authorize Dan O'Neill, the Executive Director, to continue to proceed with this and to obtain this easement from Charter so that we can maintain this pipe, do work in this pipe, and in perpetuity.
It's so 1926, the map is so blurry.
Oh, would you like a better map? More detail? Would you have any thoughts on this? Would you like to make some kind of motion?
No.
Oh, God, what are the words?
I would like to make a
Oh,
motion,
you're the
Mr.
one.
Chairman, yeah.
All right.
I would like to make a motion that the Executive Director, Dan O'Neill, be and is hereby authorized and directed on behalf of us, the board, to execute an amendment to that certain easement dated May 24, 1926, filed with the Southern Essex Registry District on the Land Court as document number 16458 and recorded with the Southern Essex Registry of Deeds in Book 2719, page 227, in substantially the same form as provided here now and over land owned by Lynn Harbor Park off Riley Way in Lynn, in connection with the construction by the Commission of the Force Main and Outfall Project, and to do all things necessary or appropriate to comply with and carry out the intent and purpose of this vote.
Motion to approve.
Roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Allen too?
Yes.
Commissioner Calucci?
Yes.
Commissioner Grace is absent, Commissioner Lozey is absent, Commissioner Solona?
Yes. New business, can we all acknowledge today's Coco's birthday?
Happy birthday. It's nice to be 25.
Yeah.
Okay, 27.
37 years ago today, Coco was born.
So, thank
I
you
wish
for-
I'm 37.
Thank you for coming here on your birthday.
You're very welcome.
Yes. And with that, adjourn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.